Hi guys, so this is lesson 2. How was your experience on lesson 1? Please send in your comments in the Facebook group that we have, or if you have any other questions, just type it in there, post anything, and I will reply. So I changed the floor plan from the one that I originally used. This one doesn't have any window, so I added a window, which is this one. So we'll import it to SketchUp model the same way that we did before, which is just drag it from the folder where it is in and then put it there. So now that it's here, it's still not scaled, so we'll do the same thing. Since we have this original one here, it's easy for us to scale the new one. So just drag it here to one corner by clicking on the M or move, and then click here. It will drag it to where you want it to go. Put it exactly where the original floor plan is. Snap it in there, and then type in S for scale, for us to rescale the new floor plan. So that's S, and then from the other corner drag it or pull it to the other corner. So this is the original one that we imported. We want to rescale it to the new size that we already checked for the scale. So just drag it to that corner, snap it there, and then release. Okay, now that the floor plans are of the same size, move this one. You can see the new floor plan has a window, which is this one. This one doesn't have one. Okay, so let's delete this, and then move this one to right on top of the other floor plan, which is here. Okay, if you don't have the floor plans anymore, if you started without it, you can just delete. I'll delete this to show you how I will move it back to the same spot. Just get this corner as a reference point, click on M for move, click here, and then drag it to where your model is, and there, click it there. Okay, now that we have it aligned, we will copy it again so we can see where the window starts and ends. So when for the door, we copied it to the right side. This time we will copy it to the lower side or upper side of your floor plan, so we can see the guidelines. Okay, so let's copy. Click M. Okay, there, M. For us to copy, after you hit M, click on Control. If you're using a Mac, click on Apple. So get one reference point, drag it downwards, and there. From these guidelines, which is the original guidelines that you have, click from one guideline and then drag it to the right, snap it here, click again. Okay, if you have deleted all the guidelines, that's fine. So I will delete it just to let you see what you'll do if you don't have the guidelines anymore. So click on tape measure, click from one side of the blue axis, either this side or this one. Okay, so I'll use this side. Click on tape measure, click from one guideline, drag to the right, and then snap it here, click again. Let's do it again. From the guideline, click, and then snap, click. Okay, now that we have guidelines for the window, you can decide what height you want for the window. Okay, so since there's a bathtub here, we don't want people to see you taking a bath, So let's see, how about 1.8 or 1.6? So from the floor line, click here using your tape measure again, and then type in 1600. Okay, it was not right there. Is that high enough? Maybe we could do 1800. So let's see, 1800. Okay, what I usually do is have the same height as the door. So our door is 2100, so I will snap another guideline there and then use that as a reference. From this, we click one more, so that will be the height of the window. It's okay, you can decide if that's enough or you want it to be a little higher, or I think I'll use the 1600 height. Okay, remember we did the guidelines from the floor plan, which is these two, so that is reflected here. We'll want to create another guideline so that you can see the guidelines standing up. So just click from this side, snap it here, click from this side, snap it here. Okay, now we have guidelines for the sides as well. So I think this will be the size of our window. If you already grouped the walls, what we will do now is click on the group, right click, and edit group. Okay, click on the edit group, then use this one, lines, or you can type L on your keyboard. So we will just follow the guidelines we made. So click here, next to the other corner, then the other corner, until we completely close the rectangle. You can see it's correct and the rectangle is closed if when you click inside it's separate from the wall that we originally made. So now that it's separate, what we will do now is use the push and pull tool, which is this one, or you can just type in on your keyboard P. And remember, the thickness of our wall is 200, right? So we can just use the push and pull tool, click it here, and then push, type in on your keypad or your keyboard 200 and hit enter. That's it. So we have the window carved out. Okay, remember this wall is already grouped. If you haven't grouped your wall yet, then this is the right time to do it before we do the windows and the doors. So again, let's say I haven't grouped this one, so I will just explode. To group the whole wall is to select all the 3D that includes the wall. Don't select the floor plan. Okay, so if you select it from, let's say if you included the floor plan, you can see that this part is also highlighted in blue. So don't do that, just highlight the 3D itself. So there, you got everything there. Right click and make group. Okay, now let's delete the guideline so we will not be confused. Edit, delete guides. Okay, so to delete all these guidelines, just click on edit and then delete guides. That's all gone. You can also take this out or just hide it. So let's just hide it for this time. So I'll select all the floor plans, shift and click on the other one to select both. Right click. I usually group it first, but you don't have to. So I just click, and then edit, hide. Okay, that's how you hide it. If you want to see that again, just click on edit and hide last, or you can also do an edit and hide all. Okay, so okay, let's hide that again. edit and hide. Okay, now that we have the walls and the doors and the window carved in, we will do the door and the window. So what I usually do is to color the walls a different color, just so I know that it's different from the new door or the new window that I will do. So let's select, let's say, a light gray color. If you don't have this shown in your default tray, just click on window, default tray, and then click on this materials. So I'll open that again, window, default tray, and materials. Okay, now I have it again. Oops, default tray, show. Okay, I'll probably just take this out, the instructor, because I will not be using it. Okay. Oh, what happened? Window default tray show. Okay, there you go. Oh. So to change the color while it's still highlighted, what happened? Okay, I have to do that, and so that it snaps there and locks there. Okay, to change the color for the walls, click on the wall and then select the color. Let's say I'll use light gray. Now that you have selected that, click on the wall. Okay, now it's light gray. You can still change it again later. This is just so you can see the difference of the door and the window that I'm going to make. Okay, this is group. Let's do the door. To do the door, click on rectangle again. From one corner to the other corner, now you have that rectangle. Okay, there are two sides of the rectangle. This side is reverse side and the other side is white. That is the front. Okay, so it's okay, we're still going to do the door, so it doesn't matter. But if you're doing it on other parts, you will need to reverse the face. Okay, so I just reverse face. From the rectangle, just copy, click on M, and then Control, patiently copy, and then move it here, so that if I do a mistake, I still have it here, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, the thickness of our wall is 200. Usual thickness of a door is about 50 or 2 inches, and then there's the door jamb, so we have to do both. Okay, now from this rectangle, let's push and pull first for 50 so that we have the door. So let's push, click on P, and then pull for 50, hit enter. Okay, now that you have the door. After that, we want to do the door jamb, so click on F for offset and then hit another 50 so that it's 2 inches out, and then okay, you can see here, this is the wall, this is the door jamb, and of course the door jamb is about as thick as the wall, so let's make that 200. So push again, P, click inside this one, and then make it 200. Okay, so that's it. That's a door with the door jamb, but the door jamb doesn't have this at the bottom. So for us to take that out, you have to push here. So click P, push, and then of course we know the thickness is 50, so push it at 50. There you go. Okay, if this one is hollowed out, that's fine, you will not see it anyway, so don't worry about that. But you can just click on L and draw a line there, and that will close. Okay, you have to take this out, so let's click on E or erase, and then click. Okay, now we have door and door jamb. What I usually do is make it into a component, so if I need to do more doors, I don't have to redo it again. So select the door, right click, make group, and then copy. I'll show you the difference of component and group. So this one is group. I will copy it first and then do a component from that. Okay, so copy is M, then control, and then drag it to one side. Okay, now this is already group. I can make it into a component. To make it into a component, just right click and then make component. Okay, remember, this is group and this is component. What I can do if I do a component, that means whatever I do here, no matter how many copies I make from that, it will change on how I want it to change if I change just one. So let's copy this. Okay, let's say I will change this into, remember this is a component, this is group. So let's say I change the thickness of the wall into maybe another 50. So push 50. Okay, that door is a bit thicker now, but it didn't change. Let's copy this. This is a group. So no matter what changes you do from one group to another group, it will not change the other group. So let's try it again. Let's say I want to push it back 2 inches again. So I'll edit this one, edit group, and then push 50. Okay, you can see whatever changes I did here, this one didn't change. Okay, now let's see what happens if we do it on a component. This is a component. You can see if it's a component, it says, when you right click, it says edit component. Okay, so let's delete this and let's copy it again so that you can see that I copied it from the component there. Okay, so let's say I do the same changes here. Let's make the door thicker. So edit component, and then when I push it to make additional 50, you can see the other door is also moving. Okay, so I usually make doors and windows into a component, so that if I change materials, I change thickness, whatever, the rest of the doors will be changed as well. So let's say I made it to an additional 50 for the thickness. Let's close that. Okay, now in case you don't want it to change, let's say you have a door that's a bit smaller in width. So of course the doors for toilets are a bit smaller than the main doors. So let's say I want to change this, but I already made all my doors into a component. What I will need to do is, okay, let's copy it first. This is still a component. For me to change just one, you have to right click and make it unique. Okay, once you made it unique, this is still a component, but you can change it. Let's say I want to, current width now is about 797, about 800. Let's say I want it to be just 700. So edit component, and then move maybe 97 just to make it 700. Okay, so there, as you can see, this one is a bit leaner, while if I do it with this component, Remember, this one I didn't do a make unique, so this one is still the same as both these two. So if I change it, let's say I want to change it into change the color of the door, let's say to yellow, everything changes. All the other components will change. But let's try it if we make it unique. I'll just undo, make it unique, and then I'll change the color, edit component, and then I'll change the color. Now that's the only one that changes in color. Okay, now that you know what's the difference between group and component, let's delete all this. I'll just leave one out because that's the one that we will use as our door for the model. Okay, so this is the component. I push it back for 50. I'll push it another 50 just to show the difference of the depth of the jamb and the door itself. So we will put it here to where we carved out the door. So let's delete that now because we don't need it now. So just move, just click on M, and then I get this corner which is inside the jamb, and then click it here, snap it where the wall ends. Okay, there. Now you have a door. Next is window. Okay, so this is still in group. This is a component. Now let's do a window. So let's click R and then select one corner, drag it to the other corner. Now you have a rectangle. Let's copy that one first again, drag it here. Okay, what I usually do is put the framing first, which is, let's say, 30 or 40, just about a little bit over 1 inch. So let's click on offset, which is F, or you can also use this. Okay, so F on your keyboard. While that command is still on, click on 40 on your keypad or numeric pad or keyboard. Okay, hit enter. Now that's the frame. I'll use push. Let's the width, the thickness of the wall is 200, right? So let's use, let's say, 150. Okay. Now that I have the outside framing, I click on this one and copy it outside again to do another framing. So that's M and then Control and then drag it outside. Okay, now before I work on this one, I will make this into a group. So what I will do is click here inside first and then hit on delete. Okay, now we only have the outside framing. Click on this one, right click and make it into a group first so that we will not touch that for now. Okay, now that we have this, I want it to be window with 2 panes. So let's separate that. In every rectangle or shape there, you can see a midpoint. Okay, so I separated it into 2 by clicking on L and then looking for the midpoint. It will snap it to it. Okay, you'll know it's correct if it turns into blue and it says midpoint. So from there, click and then just drag it down. Okay, now we have 2. I usually just erase the other one. I just want to get the exact half size. Okay, so if we use 40 for this, the inside framing should be a little bit thinner. So let's use 30 or 1 inch. So offset again, O, no, not O, but F. Okay, offset, which is this. So that's F, and then type in 30. Okay, let's do that again. So F. Okay, you'll know it's already clicked or in operation if when you click inside, it will have this little dots. So click inside and then drag. If you drag it, if you start to drag it, you will see the lines coming in or out. So you want it to have an exact measurement, so type in 30 on your keypad or keyboard. So now what we have here, what I want to do is push. If you use 150 on the first frame, let's say we'll do 100 here. So just click on P or push and pull, and then click on this side, which is the outside framing. So let's type in 100 for the thickness, and then type in, and then hit on enter. Okay, now that we have that, let's assume this part will be the glass. We want this to be glass, but we want the glass to be in the center of the frame. So let's push it again for another 50. Since this is 100, this is 100. Okay, let's push it for 50. So let's type in P and then type in 50. Okay. Now that part is already at the middle of this frame. Okay, but we want this to be a glass. So for us to change the glass, we will go to this materials. Again, for you to open the materials, click on window, default tray, and then hit materials here. It should be checked. If you still don't have the default tray here, just click on default tray, and then you will see here show tray instead of hide. Mine is already showing, that's why it already says hide. So now for us to look for the glass, SketchUp already has preset materials that you can use, which is here: asphalt, brick, carpet, colors, glass. Okay, now we're looking for glass. Click on glass. I usually use this one, the translucent gray. So click this and then click here. As you can see, that one changed into a translucent gray. Okay, now that we have that, click on select the window again from left to right, make it into a group. I usually make it into a component because this one has two. So from group, I right click again and make component. Okay, now that I have that as a component, let's move it in for this one. So this is the window pane, one frame. So let's move, click on M, and then select the corner, click on another corner, and that's where we will lay the window. Now we want it to have a little bit of depth, so instead of snapping it right here, which is just flushed to the outside frame of the window, let's move it a bit inside by maybe, let's see, 30. So to move, just click on M, click on one side, and then move, type in 30, and then that's it. Okay, first this is just one frame, we want to put another one, so let's copy. So for us to copy, click on M, and then select, and then there. Okay, then we can copy. But what I usually do is select from the corner. So let's do that again. I selected the window, and then click on M, and then select the corner, click on that corner, and then see. Okay, again click on M and then Control to make it a copy. You can see from just the move icon, now it changed into a move with a plus. So now we can copy, click here from the corner, and click to the next one. Okay, now we have the window. Remember, this is a component, so whatever I do with this one happens to this one as well. So let's try that. Let's say I want to put another sort of framing inside. So let's right click, edit component. Okay, now we can select that. Let's say I want to put 10. Usually windows have steel framings inside. We don't have to do it, but just to make you see what happens in a component. So I'll do it here. So I'll offset again. So that's F, edit component, F to offset, and then let's say 10. Okay. Now let's change that into, let's assume this is sort of a steel framing. So I changed the material from the transparent glass to this. Then click on P. Let's say 5 as thickness to that. Okay, there you go. Now you can see both of these window frames have that interior framing as well. Okay, this is a separate group. This is not grouped yet, so we want it to be all together so that we don't so that it's locked and we're not changing it from now. So select everything, right click, and then make it into a group. I usually make it into a component afterwards as well. So make component. Now let's move it here to where it should be. Now that our window is already complete, we can delete this. So click here, M, select the corner, and then click it here again. There. Okay, we don't want it flashed to the wall. Either we move it forward, so let's push 50, or we move it inside, push 50 again, or move 50. So I think I want it to go outside. For interiors, it usually looks better if it's outside. Okay, so just now that it's in there, just click anywhere, and then M, then move, type in 50, enter. Okay, now we have the door and the window. That's lesson 2. Okay, now we're done with the wall, window, and door. I will select it again to make it into a group. Then we can move on to lesson 3. Okay, so I hope that's clear and you're able to follow it. So till next lesson again. Okay, I'd like to clear out something. I'm using ConvertIt for sending all these lessons and emails to you guys. So I checked with ConvertIt. I know I told you that the lessons comes out every Friday, but it doesn't go like that. It will be sent out 7 days from when you registered. So if you registered on let's say April 18, you will receive lesson 1 April 24, and then 7 days after that. So if you registered April 17, you will get lesson 1 on the 23rd. So we are not stuck with Friday anymore. It will be every 7 days from when you registered. So I hope that's clear. If you have any other questions, just post anything, post your questions or whatever, your feedbacks on the Facebook group, the SketchUp Made Easy Facebook group. Or I would love to hear your feedbacks as well, or you can send them to me through the email. Just reply to that email, and I'm receiving your email. Thank you very much for your kind words. You're making my days a little bit brighter for receiving all your emails and your messages. So again, thank you. This is lesson 2, and I'm looking forward to lesson 3.